The deep web is one of the most amazing things on Earth. Not because of how joyful it makes people, but because it's a completely uncensored mirror of humanity. No rules, no filters, just raw freedom. I was in college when this happened. Everyone on campus was getting into the deep web like it was some new TikTok trend. At first, I avoided it, mostly because I'd heard the horror stories. People getting hacked, watching messed up videos, getting their addresses leaked, but everyone around me seemed fine. So I thought, why not? A friend came over to help me set up Tor. He asked if I planned on doing anything illegal. I said no. So we skipped the extra security tools like Tails, probably mistake number one. Within a few days, I was browsing confidently. I kept things pretty safe, stayed on the censored hidden wiki, joined forums, even bought a little weed. It became routine, fun even. Then I got cocky. I turned off censored mode and started exploring links that weren't scrubbed. Most were dead ends or glitchy scam sites. But one night, I stumbled onto something called All the Gore. At first, it looked like a typical shock forum. Chat rooms, usernames, dark layout. But the longer I stayed, the worse it got. One chat room had real-life killers bragging about what they'd done, posting photos. One guy, username Culture045, shared a full breakdown of how he'd broken into a family's house, slit the parents' throats while hiding under their bed, and kidnapped their young daughter. I thought it was bullshit. Then he posted the pictures. I can't describe them in full without throwing up. There was a girl, maybe 8 or 9 years old, bruised, bloodied, tied to a chair, naked, crying. There were pictures of him cutting her, beating her, violating her. Then came the drill photo. He was smiling at the camera while drilling into her skull. I snapped. I typed, "You people are sick. You deserve to die." Immediately, the chat blew up. They mocked me, called me a beta, said I was just like the girl, helpless and stupid. Then Culture045 typed, "Where do you live, buddy? Want to be next?" In a panic, I typed, "I'm calling the police." Biggest mistake of my life. The site went black. A new chat window appeared. Green font, username, admin1. Message, "Call the cops and you'll regret it." I froze. My phone buzzed. New message, no number. "Call the police and you're dead." No contact name, no ID, just blank. I looked up at my laptop. My webcam light was on. I covered it instantly, but not fast enough. The site displayed a picture of me, sitting at my desk, holding my phone. Admin1 typed, "Put the phone down. Uncover the webcam?" I didn't. So he responded, "Okay then, be like that." He then posted my full name, age, and college address into the chat. "Would be a shame if you and your friends vanished." I uncovered the webcam, shaking. He made me follow a series of steps to scrub the site from my device completely. Told me it would erase every trace. I followed every step. When it was done, I got one final message. "Now don't ever try and come back." No number, no contact. I called the police from a friend's phone. They couldn't find a trace of the site. Said it probably never existed. But it did. I moved, changed my name, got a new laptop, wiped everything. But I still get nightmares. Still feel watched. And sometimes, late at night, I swear I hear a faint click from my webcam. I'm in a random Starbucks in the middle of downtown Las Vegas, typing this out for reasons that are beyond me. I get that if I die, I want at least someone to know what happened to me. You're probably getting the impression that I am scared for my life, but you would be completely wrong. In fact, I'm having the most fun I've ever had. This is by far the best game I've ever played. Now, let me indulge you in why I hired a hitman on myself. It all started about 4 weeks ago. I'm sitting in my office, bored as hell, staring blankly into my computer, counting each individual white pixel on that goddamn screen. As I'm zoning out, I start thinking to myself, how did I end up this way? My life had boiled down to me sitting in a cubicle for 8 hours a day. Eat, sleep, repeat. I sure as hell didn't grow up thinking, boy, I'd love to spend my life filing acquisitions for some soulless training corporation. Sure, I made good money, but I didn't feel like a human anymore. I had no kids, no girlfriend, and no family that actually gave a shit about me. I was completely alone. I needed adventure again. Some kind of excitement. Anything was better than what I was doing. I was snapped out of my pity party by my dickhead boss, asking if I'd finished this week's paperwork. I hadn't, but I lied and said I did. He gave me his usual smug, I'm superior to you tone and told me to have it on his desk in the morning. Yeah, sure. Go screw yourself. I finished what I was working on, shut off the computer, and walked out. 5 p.m. Another meaningless day done. That night, I started thinking about how I could bring some real fun into my life. I considered a vacation, moving to a new city, buying a sports car, but none of it was big enough. I wanted something insane, something life or death. That's when I started browsing the deep web, just out of curiosity. I came across all the usual illegal crap, drugs, weapons, identities, but then I saw something that stopped me cold. Have a problem in your life? Hire one of our cleaners to take care of it, at Cthulhu's will. It was a hitman service. Then a thought hit me like lightning. What if I hired a hitman on myself? A real game of cat and mouse. I'd have to avoid someone actively trying to kill me. And if I lose, I die. If I win, I beat death. It was perfect. I emailed them saying I had a problem that needed taken care of. 3 hours later, they replied with the details, pricing, process, and one chilling line. Once payment is confirmed, there's no going back. I took $30,000 from my savings, converted it to Bitcoin, and paid. The next day, I quit my job in the most spectacular fashion, told my boss to shove it, hit on the receptionist in the filthiest way possible, destroyed every file in that office, and walked out a free man. Then I went shopping. Bought myself a 9mm Glock, a PS-90 rifle, and a Barrett .50 Cal sniper rifle. I also visited a spy shop, picked up bug detectors, voice changers, hidden cameras, and surveillance gear. I wasn't planning on dying easy. That night, I got an email back. The cleaner has been dispatched. Expect him within 48 hours. That's when the game began. Since then, I've been living like I'm on the run. Hotels, rest stops, random Wi-Fi cafes. I never stay in the same place twice. Every sound makes me check over my shoulder. Every face in the crowd might be the guy sent to kill me. And I've never felt more alive. I don't know how this will end. Maybe he catches me. Maybe I catch him. Maybe we die at the same time. But this is the first time in years I've felt like I'm actually living. Wish me luck. I was obsessed with urban legends. Red rooms, black market live streams, encrypted torture sites. But I never believed they were real. Until I found one. I was in a chat room where users traded .onion links like currency. Most of it was fake, badly edited videos, edgy teens trying to scare each other. But one user named Manifold Gray sent me something different. No message, just the link. /viewer56.room. I clicked it. No hesitation. It felt like every horror thread I'd ever read was pointing to this moment. The site was minimalist. Just a black screen and white font that said, "One viewer, one life. Do not look away." I thought it was a gimmick, but the moment the stream started, I knew it wasn't. It was a plain white room. Surgical white. Spotless. A man sat in the middle, bolted upright in a chair with his eyes sewn open. He was naked, gagged, and shaking so hard the camera vibrated. Tubes ran into his arms and neck. Fluid of some kind dripped from IV bags with no labels. The walls were padded, but they weren't clean. There were handprints on them. Blood. Smears. Drag marks. Then someone entered frame. He wore all black. No mask. His eyes were calm. Flat, like a shark's. He wheeled in a cart full of tools. Bone saws, scalpels, bolt cutters, syringes. Everything gleamed. The chat box popped up, but there were no other users. Just one message from admin. You control the pace. Slow. Moderate. Fast. I stared, confused. Then the man in black turned to face the camera. Slowly, like he could see me. He raised one finger and pointed to the buttons. I hesitated, then clicked moderate. He smiled, and he began. He started with the skin, taking a scalpel and slicing from the chest to the hip in one clean stroke. The man in the chair bucked, his sewn eyes bulging. Blood poured over the sides of the seat. The surgeon peeled back the skin like a flap, exposing the pink muscle beneath. I heard the squish, the tearing. It sounded like ripping carpet. Then he cut off the nipples. Just snipped them like buttons. Let them fall to the floor. I tried to click away. The site wouldn't close. I reached for Task Manager. Locked. No shortcuts worked. The mouse moved, but the cursor was frozen in the middle of the screen. And then I saw it. My webcam light was on. The surgeon on screen waved at me. My stomach dropped. I grabbed a towel and threw it over the webcam, but he kept going. Next, he injected something into the man's thighs. The muscle spasmed violently. Then he picked up a drill. Without hesitation, he drove it into the man's kneecap. The bit crunched bone, and a geyser of blood sprayed the white floor. I could hear the knee break, like a stick snapping underfoot. The chat updated. How are we feeling, viewer? My heart was pounding. I typed, "Let him go." No response. Instead, the surgeon walked to the camera and held up a photo. It was me, a screenshot from my webcam, sitting in my room, right now. Then the lights in the stream flickered. Not violently, just a single pulse. And behind the surgeon, someone new appeared. Another chair. Empty. Facing the same direction. Facing me. I yanked the plug from my wall. Black screen. Dead silence. I smashed the tower. Sledgehammered the drive. Burned the pieces in my sink. Paranoid, I changed apartments 2 weeks later. New internet. New laptop. But it didn't matter. Because last night, I got another link. No sender. No subject. Just this. /viewer57.room. I'm not proud of what I've done online. I was 19, living alone, working nights at a gas station, and bored out of my mind. The internet had become a rabbit hole for me. First, it was creepy YouTube videos, then gore sites, and eventually the dark web. I told myself I was just curious, but deep down, I think I was chasing the sickest thing I could find, just to feel something. One night, I came across a hidden forum. You couldn't just log in. It needed an invite. I posted on a few threads, shared a couple gore clips I'd collected, and after a few days, someone messaged me. "You're ready. Want a seat?" Attached was a .onion link. The site loaded slowly. Black screen, red text. The red chair. A private viewing experience. There was a countdown timer. 10 minutes. The screen flickered. Then a chat box popped up. Someone named Host01 typed, "Sit back. No recording. No screenshots. If you try anything, we'll know." I should have clicked out, but I didn't. The stream began. A dimly lit concrete room filled the screen. In the center was a rusted metal chair with what looked like a drain underneath. Chains hung from the arms. The audio was dead silent until a door opened and two masked men dragged someone in. A man, naked, bruised, gagged. He looked maybe 30. His eyes were already swollen. He wasn't screaming, just whimpering like a beaten dog. They strapped him to the chair. His ankles and wrists were locked down tight. One of them walked off screen and came back with a battery-powered saw. A fucking saw. I remember whispering no, but I didn't look away. The first thing they did was take off his fingers, one by one. No anesthesia, just raw, buzzing steel and meat. He thrashed so hard the chair almost tipped. Blood poured down the drain in thick globs. The cameras zoomed in like they were showing it off. His teeth were clenched so tight, I thought they'd snap. People in the chat were cheering. "Start from the feet. Go slow. He deserves it." I wanted to shut my laptop, but my hands wouldn't move. I felt sick. I was shaking. Then came the eyes. One of them pulled out a hooked blade, like something a fisherman would use. He held the guy's head still, while the other carved under his eye socket. There was this wet tearing noise I'll never forget. The man finally screamed, loud and long. It didn't even sound human, just pain in its purest form. They showed the eyeball to the camera like a trophy. I vomited on my keyboard, but I still didn't look away. The last thing they did was... God! They peeled the skin from his chest like it was clothing, piece by piece. They'd slice, pull, then hold it up to the camera. He wasn't moving by then. I don't know if he passed out or died. The room was soaked in blood. The drain couldn't even keep up anymore. It started pooling around the chair, black and sticky. The feed cut out. A final message popped up. "You watched. You stayed. You're one of us now." I threw my laptop across the room. I didn't sleep that night, or the night after. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that man's face. His eyes gone, his mouth open, screaming without sound. I scrubbed my computer, destroyed the hard drive, got rid of everything. But sometimes I swear I still hear the saw in my head, still see that red chair in my dreams. The worst part, a week later, I got an email. No subject, just a single line. "Your seat is reserved."